stay at home and protect lives. That's the clear warning from the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, who says it's not a request, but an instruction.
Debido a la emergencia del coronavirus, alumnos y docentes han tenido
Hi folks, quick update from me on the campaign against coronavirus.
I want every American to be prepared for the hard days that lie ahead.
Rallentare la diffusione del nuovo coronavirus. In
Finding faster ways to test people who may have the
virus. And it was such an incredible moment that is now taking place every Thursday at 8 p.m.
None of us can say when this will end, but end it will.
Hello and welcome to Corona Chronicles, where in the coming weeks we will attempt to touch base with a wide range of people from all walks of life to talk about how the current situation is impacting them both professionally and personally, as well as offering a cupful of cheer, some top tips and stats, and most importantly to touch virtual base with a cheery hello and without the need for hand sanitiser. I'm Nick Randall. Today we focus on an important organisation that supports people with learning difficulties and the added difficulties encountered during lockdown. Very much in the front line, these wonderful people are having to adapt their skills to help a section of the population very much in need. So, from People First Forum, we have Paul Thomas, who's a learning disabilities advisor. Welcome to the programme, Paul. Firstly, tell us about your general role.
Thank you, Nick. Well, there's a lot of People First groups up and down the country. And we're basically getting people with learning disabilities to speak up for their rights and to give them a voice in the community. We make information accessible and easy read for organisations like National Health. We've done it for NHS. We've done some easy read information for social services. We do training about learning disability awareness, and we do that with people with disabilities. Majority of our staff have got a learning disability, and all of our management committee. So it's run by people with disabilities, for people with disabilities on the whole.
So it's a general sort of support mechanism for people who just need to navigate their way through different life-related things like, banking and all the rest of it. You're involved in the courts, aren't you?
Yes, my particular job is to support victims of crime if they have to go to court and give evidence in a trial. So I will write a report about their needs and give it to counsel in court. So to make sure they're questioned appropriately, that they're not questioned for too long, that language is easy to understand, they understand what's going on, measures they can put in place to make the person feel more calm and to be a credible witness, basically.
So presumably going to the courts, etc., that involves a lot of movement. So you're now working from home. How different is your role?
Yes, very different, because a typical day for me would be to meet people in the community and get to know them, meet them a few times before they actually go to court. And I can't do that at the moment because my work is about meeting people one-to-one and having meetings with police and people I'm supporting and everything. So a lot of the trials that I'm working on have been adjourned for now until after this coronavirus situation. So all our staff are working from home at the moment. So my job now consists of, I'm still phoning the people I'm supporting through court, but I'm checking they're okay, that they've got enough support there, that they can get shopping in, that they can attend appointments, things like that. And if they do need a bit of support with something, I'm just making phone calls on their behalf and trying to signpost them onto other organisations.
Right. Give me the type of concerns some people might have and the type of advice that they're asking for now, and how much aid can you realistically offer in isolation?
My job is basically to phone around and make sure that they've got enough support in place. And I'm happy to say that most of them seem to be coping with it pretty well. And some people have gone back to their families for lockdown, and some people have moved in with friends or partners for the duration. So they got somebody there to support them as well.
I mean, has anything sort of flagged up that you're dealing with something slightly different than you would have done before? I mean, anything specifically lockdown related?
Yes, well, going out is very important to a lot of our members. And, a lot of them will go out on a daily basis to the gym or do some sort of day activities or work, whether it's voluntary or being paid. And if they can't do that, then they might, sort of struggle to occupy themselves and also be isolated from their friends and family, like all of us, really, like most of us are.
So presumably you're a friendly voice at the end of a phone. That sounds to be as important as any advice you can give.
Yes, I think a lot of people just want somebody to talk to as well, especially if they're particularly, feel like they're isolated or they're lonely. So it's pretty important what we're doing for our members at the moment, I think. Just phoning around, we've identified ones that might be a bit more isolated and might live on their own. And we're phoning around to make sure they're okay and kind of reassure them and just listen to them, really, just be there for them. We've given information out about where they can get shopping delivered from and organisations that will help deliver shopping to people. And MenCap are doing a lot of good things as well. So we're giving lots of people information, and we're doing it on our website, but also doing it over the phone because not everyone is online. For those that are online, we keep our Facebook page updated and put information on there most days, and we have a live broadcast to people, if you like, a live feed. That's what you call it, isn't it, Nick?
Yeah, I
the
guess
right
so.
word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to our members, so they can look at that, and we give them up-to-date information. We do that on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and then at the weekend we put a quiz on or something to entertain people a bit more. But the weekly ones are about giving people information, and so they don't feel so alone, and giving them practical advice as well, and helping them to understand that how important it is to stay in and not put yourself at risk by going out, and only going out if it's essential.
It sounds like you're doing a very important job, and supporting the community. And adapting your role, which is very interesting, and I think that is happening in a lot of different professions at the moment.
Yes, I think, and it's bringing people together. So even though we can't meet physically, they know that there's somebody there they can talk to, and they can talk to other members as well. And a lot of them have got WhatsApp groups with their friends, and some of the staff that support them have told them about how to set up, WhatsApp groups, or how to get Zoom on their phone or computer and things like that. So we work alongside their carers and support workers a lot of the time.
Right.
Make sure they're getting well supported. A lot of what we're about is signposting people onto organisations that can put in the practical help. And we kind of help them to get that, put them in touch with organisations and that.
It sounds like your job is more important than ever during lockdown. In terms of how it's sort of impacted you personally, how are you doing at the moment?
I personally would rather work from an office and meet people face to face, but I've learnt to adapt to working from home and chatting to people more over the phone, or having Skype meetings or Zoom meetings with my colleagues and with other people and with carers and that, to get information from my reports about the people I'm supporting. So I'm doing that a lot. And the fact that a lot of the court cases have been adjourned means that I can concentrate on other things as well to do with my job and make sure that people are okay in this situation rather than prepared for court. Do you know what I mean? So it's a kind of slightly different role.
So you feel you've adapted quite well in the environment? You're okay to be working from home, not getting too distracted?
Yes. Well, I do get a bit distracted. And I think yes. But I'm quite self-disciplined. I make sure I start at 8 and finish at 4 most days. But I'm distracted by the fridge sometimes, And like most people at work from home, your food is too easily accessible, And, And I'm working from our spare room, which is full of music and DVDs and distractions. But I'm being very good. I'm not distracted so far.
So no chilling to Netflix during office hours.
No, I've been very good.
Brilliant.
Do that all in the evening instead of going out, because none of us can go out anymore, can we, at the moment?
Absolutely.
So,
now, a little bird tells me that you're a bit of a poet on the side, and you've written something relating to lockdown, which we would love to hear, Paul Thomas.
Well, I'm not a poet in any way at all. I just thought I'd have a go. I thought I'd have a go. Just putting some words together about being in lockdown and working from home in particular. When I knew I was going to do this with you, I thought I want to do something to lighten it up a bit.
Yeah,
and also,
why not?
I might use this for because most of us are quite stressed at the moment. I'm being quite worried about things, but I also think it's brought out the best in people in some ways.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
I'd like to think it has,
and a lot
I think people are being kinder to one another generally.
Now, No, I agree. It's kinder. The environment's better. We've closed the ozone hole. There's a lot of benefits. I mean, obviously, we have to balance it with all the people who have died.
Of course.
But yeah, it has allowed the world to sort of stop and pause. And hopefully, when we come out of this, that we might change our working practices and all the rest of it. But for now, let's hear the lockdown poem by Mr. Paul Thomas.
I'm no Pam Ayres. It's called Only in Lockdown. Only in lockdown do these things occur, but it takes just seconds to travel to the place of my work. Left at the kitchen, in the room by the stairs, by the laundry basket, you'll find me there. Looking feral and unshaven, not very well groomed. I'll be checking my emails and chatting on Zoom. Then throughout the day, I'm partial to snacks. The poor fridge must feel that it's under attack. Don't even mention how we cut our own hair. We'll all soon be yearning for the barber's chair. One little fact that's sad beyond doubt is that I've started to look forward to putting the bins out. Only in lockdown am I scared of the stranger, crossing the street away from the danger. I miss simple things like trips to the tip. We'd come home with more shit than we left in the skips. Cinema gigs and party nights have now been replaced with Netflix and Skype. But we must be good and stay safe inside for the NHS and, of course, to save lives.
Oh, that was brilliant. That's really good, Paul. That really made me laugh, and it was really poignant and sweet, with a bit of Pam Ayres thrown in.
Was really?
Absolutely fantastic. It was sort of, emotional. It spoke to the nation, talked about haircuts, putting the bins out. I mean, honestly, you should turn it into a single. Do they still have singles anymore? Do they still have singles? It could be a rap song. You could call yourself the Biscuit Rappers.
Yes.
The Biscuit Rappers, hey?
Wow.
There
I
you go.
could get the Yellow Project to do it, couldn't I?
Well, yes, because Paul Thomas is a friend of our parent strand, SNS Online, and you do your own music with, I'm not sure who you do it with, but it's called the Yellow Project.
Tim Lloyd-Smith he's the main guy who's got a studio in Bournemouth, and he puts these wonderful bits of music together, gives them to me, and I try and work a song around it sometimes, and we come up with these songs between us. Yeah, we've done a couple of EPs, and we just got an LP we've finished, which coincidentally has got a song on it called Shutdown, which is more poignant than ever at the moment.
Well, I'll tell you what, Paul, I reckon we should play us out with the Yellow Project. We've got some news coming up first, but we'll come back to you very shortly.
Thank you very much, Nick.
So we'll be back shortly with Paul. So now it's time for the latest corona-related world news, dated the 29th of April as we're recording. The total number of people who have died in the UK with coronavirus since the beginning of March has now risen above 26,000. For the first time, the number includes people who died not only in hospital, but in care homes and in the community. Researchers at the University of Liverpool say that a third of people who go to hospital in the UK with COVID-19 die there. Obese and older people are at greater risk of getting the illness more seriously, as are men. The study looked at 17,000 patients. The US economy suffered its most severe contraction in more than a decade in the first quarter of the year as the country introduced lockdowns to slow the spread of coronavirus. The world's largest economy sank at an annual rate of 4.8%, according to official figures released on Wednesday. It's understood that Boris Johnson won't take paternity leave until later in the year because of the coronavirus crisis. The Prime Minister's son was born in hospital in London this morning, and both the baby and his mother, Mr Johnson's fiancée, Carrie Simmons, are said to be doing well. BBC, local radio presenters and staff are all due to take a photo of themselves saluting Captain Moore, who raised close to £30 million for the NHS by walking around his garden at his home in Bedfordshire. Spotify has reached 130 million paid subscribers, despite initial concerns over how the COVID-19 crisis could affect listening habits. The music streaming platform said it gained 6 million subscribers in the first quarter of 2020. And finally, authorities in the Spanish coastal resort have apologised after spraying a beach with bleach in an attempt to protect children from coronavirus. Environmentalists say the move caused brutal damage to the local ecosystem. I guess they must have been listening to Donald Trump. So I'm back with Paul Thomas again just before we wrap up Corona Chronicles. And we're going to play out with one of your tracks from the Yellow Project. What are we going to have, Paul?
Well, shut down, please.
Excellent stuff. That sounds very appropriate in the current situation. Any background to that, Paul?
It's a bit of a doomy, miserable track, but I think people like it and relate to it. And it's about wanting to just stop everything and unplug yourself from the world and how we're fed with news from all around the world and through Facebook or Twitter, and about how it can all get too much sometimes.
Well, that sounds very appropriate. Paul Thomas, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nick. Nice to chat to you.
Facebook feeds.
altar where Bishop Cruz was saying a prayer.